All right, first things first, I like to mix Tough 74 and TH 72, both by Resi One. They're really good resins like on their own, but Tough is a little bit harder, and it's good for joints. TH 72 gives it like a little bit of flex, and when you heat up your joints and heat up your cavities, the pieces just go in a little bit better. It just has a little bit more flex. So, and then I just get like an old bottle of whatever that's an empty bottle, and then I just write mix on it so I know that it's a mix. So I just do 50/50. Probably the smaller the figure, like if you do any of my 1 inch figures, you can probably just go full TH 72. The bigger figures, I just mix 50/50 in here, shake it up, and yeah, you're good to go. Another trick I like to do is once I pull off the build plate and start scraping off the parts to get ready to clean, I'll just take a spatula and I'll just kind of slide it through like nice and soft. You don't want to scratch the film, but I'll just try and make sure I don't feel like anything's catching it. And this has just been pretty good little thing I do just to make sure there's no little random pieces that like break off. You still might need to sometimes like clean it or whatever, but if it catches it, then you're like, okay, you have to clean it out. But just because that can take a while, like pouring it all out, it's not always the funnest thing to do. So I'll just do that. I'll look at my prints and see if there's any pieces that look like they didn't, like they failed, or like something maybe fell off. So just make sure that nothing came off, and then I just do that every time just to make sure. Hey, so I just wanted to show you a quick cleaning process of these figures after you get them printed. So every once in a while you'll get like a little failed piece that doesn't work or whatever. Like there could be a little piece of debris where this little thing was. So I just went, and this is what's cool about 3D printing. Just went and printed anything that was missing or that failed. So so for cleaning, this is just isopropyl alcohol. You can also use denatured alcohol. I get that from Home Depot or Lowe's. Isopropyl alcohol, it's super cheap. That's like, I get the 90%, and I get it from Walmart. It's like $2 for a little thing. But so this is if you look at it, it's like gray, and this is because this is like the dirty version. So I go through and just kind of wipe everything down. This is like the old stuff, and then I do like 2 little baths, and I wipe it down in this one, and then I'll spin it around in the cleaner. And this, I just try and get as much of that crap off, so that the reason I do that is so that your alcohol will just last a little bit longer. Like it's not like it gets dirty, like it'll turn gray after your first time. So even the clean version, or whatever, the cleaner, that looks like kind of grayish. But obviously if you can, if you want to just use brand new alcohol on it, that's probably the best, because it's going to be perfectly clean. No residue or at all. But usually I'll clean it like this and get as much off the back. A lot of it likes to stick on that back, and then just kind of let it dry out. And then yeah, I'll use a compressor and a spray hose and just spray these. You can see there's like a little, right here, there's a little hole in the bottom. That's like a little reservoir. I do that for all my figures. It's so that when I'm spraying it out, or it will just drain. So you can see this, it just starts draining out. So I do that so that any kind of leftover resin will just drain out, or I can spray it and it'll spray through. And there's just little tips and tricks if you're making your own models, and I do it to all mine, just to get as much of that residue out as you can. All right, so now that they're all cleaned with alcohol, and like they've had their dirty bath and then their second bath, it's time to spray them out with a compressor. Like I said, the cleaner of the alcohol, you might not need to use this, but I always do it just because you don't want any residual alcohol. I've got those little valleys, or little reservoirs, I guess, the little hole that goes in, so that it'll just all get out. So The most important parts I would say are like in your elbows and knees, and then like in your torso, where the ball joints go, and like yeah, your head. You want to make sure get underneath. So I actually got the little bike tire pump just to it's really sharp. So here we go. You can see it's a little bit. It's like coming off, so it's going good. All right, now that they're all sprayed out, the next step is getting them ready to cure. And so I like to just kind of take them apart right now while they've just been cleaned. If you need to, like I don't like to cure them on this because it feels like it breaks off parts a little bit easier. And so like while they're not cured, I feel like it's a little bit better right now. You still got to be careful, but see how these kind of pop off pretty easily. Get the old M16 here. And when I cure my prints, I like to cure them. I do it a couple different ways, but I cure them in water, and you can cure them in the sun if you want. I've done that when I'm just like doing a whole bunch of prints at once. You usually have to do it a little bit longer, or you can use like a UV lamp. And basically what I do for a UV lamp is I put it in like a clear container like this, and then I'll put the container on a grate where. So yeah, I will cure them on a grate like this, where I can put a little UV lamp underneath, put them in like a clear container, put it, and it's got a middle rack. This is just a little, I don't know, an organizational rack. You can get it anywhere really, Amazon or some like Home Depot or something. Super cheap, not expensive at all. And then yeah, I put a lamp on top, just turn on the bottom one, and then yeah, I'll let it sit in there for 20-25 minutes. If you want, like at the halfway mark or whatever, you can just kind of move them around, move your parts around. And yeah, so like I said, the water will kind of let that light refract through it, and then yeah, cure your parts nice and evenly. We're gonna show you how to assemble the buck figure. This is the new buck. I've kind of switched around some articulation stuff just to make it a little bit better. As always, I'm always trying to improve, so I like to just put it in some warm water. I got this super cheap burn plate and pan on Amazon, and they're cheap and good. So yeah, first things first, you got your cold parts, which are your knees and your elbows. Oh, here's an elbow. And I got some cold water here. I just put ice cubes. And your joints, you got your butterflies and your feet. So here's the hips piece. Like I said, I like to start with the hips. Just pop it on there. Then I'll usually go to, since I already have this, I go to the abs. Pop that in. And then the little ab joint is the shorter one of all of them. So you've got, and I've done this different configurations. Sometimes there's only one of these for the neck. This one I'm trying 2 shoulder pieces and the neck. It's kind of my old system. I'm going back to it, but adding a butterfly joint. So I'll hop to the forearms, and there's a little T on the top of this to say it's the top, and I'll pinch this perpendicularly. and then put it in the cold water. I usually lay it out like kind of how it would be. So this is his left forearm. And then find the T and then pinch that perpendicular, and then I just pinch it nice and tight. Got a fist, his left fist, and then his right fist. Then I'll move to the shoulders. Grab the head, so now we got all these barbell pieces in place. Then I'll usually go grab his core, and the thighs, there's usually like a little L, or if there's a little mark, it's usually on the outside. And then the same thing with this, I put a T on top, or the kneecap is usually on the top of the knee piece. Do the other one. Pinch it and cool it. And you can do this with factory figures too. If your factory figures, like the combat creatures, you just warm them up and then you can pinch them, because plastic and resin, from what I've heard, has like memory. So it wants to go back to its original state. So here's the calf piece. Get his other one, you can just pop it in the foot. And then pinch it perpendicular, so this will go in nice and easy. Okay, now I'll get the bicep. So same thing, there's usually like a little arrow, and I put that on the outside, or if it's the buck, his vein, the main bicep vein is on the outside. So I can see this is his left bicep. Nice click. There we go. That arm's done. Pop that in. All right, so as I was saying, this is kind of my old system, but I'm mixing it with like a new system. So these are like the butterfly joints. So there's that. Pop the head in. Get his torso in. And the other one. Cool them off. There you go. You got a 3D printed figure. So I like this system. It gives us some, like a little bit of the butterfly joint, but it has that almost like a clavicle with the barbell. So there you go. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments.